Bill Vinovich, the referee for 3 Super Bowls, and also a great college official with Deldre Carr and Todd Austin for this final one tonight, Dan. And what are you watching for after losses for both last night here in Palm Springs?
Well, I think for Ole Miss, you got to keep A.J. Storr rolling the way he did last night, as well as establish Malik Dia on the inside. For Utah, I thought their energy really waned towards the end of the game. In particular, Terrence Brown Jr., he was heading into last night's game second in the country at scoring. He was held to 9. I'd love to see a bounce-back game from him.
Lob to the rim, and Dia times it and scores.
Well, there you have it. Chris Beard wants to get Dia involved right off the bat. Great design play there for the easy 2.
Utah, like the script Utah on the front of their red uniforms in this one. Ole Miss, the script red on the front of theirs. Hayes inside and able to finish. He was in foul trouble much of last night in the loss for Utah.
Yeah, didn't score. 4 fouls in 9 minutes. That's got to energize him to be a part of tonight's game.
Jiffa, the point guard for the Rebels. Here's Storr with driving room, step back 15-footer, goes down.
Well, as mentioned, at 22 last night, he is a player that can get going in a hurry. St. John's, Wisconsin, and Kansas. His time at Wisconsin in the Big Ten averaged nearly 17 a game.
McHenry first touch, and he nails the 3, and both teams are 2 for 2 to start. A.J. Storr is going to be vital for Ole Miss when they get into conference play, and steps on Malik Dia and the turnover for Ole Miss.
Well, Dia gets the turnover credited to him, but really that should go to A.J. Storr. There's a time and a place to deliver the ball to a big on the move. That was a tough catch leading to a travel from Dia.
Brown, number 2 for Utah. What do we need to see from him tonight that was absent last night?
Sorry, from Dia?
From Brown.
From Brown. I think he needs to attack the rim, get himself to the free throw line, which he clearly can do, and not settle for contested jump shots.
All right, there, got a good look, but it popped out. Brown last night really struggled against Grand Canyon. Was 3 of 11 for Utah. Here's Dia. They double team him. Comardine tucks it, and the floater's good for a guy with such a fluid game.
A big point guard, 22-year-old freshman, has really burst onto the scene for Ole Miss. He plays with great pace. He's got good size, as mentioned, so he's able to elevate over the top of a lot of guards.
Brown inside, and before the shot is fouled on the floor. The first on the Rebels, called by Bill Vinovich. And it's on Jiffa for Ole Miss. And immediately, Alex Jensen to his bench. In comes their backup point guard, Obomate Abbey, the man from Finland, and James Patrick. Or excuse me, Jacob Patrick into the game as well for Utah, number 6. As Traore misses from below the foul line. Storr, another step back. Weak side rebound, and they'll pull it out and reset. James Scott went up for it. He now rolls. Reversal to Jiffa. Good closeout by Brown. 6 to shoot. Jiffa spins on Terrence Brown and throws up an air ball, and the Utes get the stop.
Jiffa, not your traditional point guard, shares those duties with Camardine, but Jiffa is wired to score. Wants to get downhill, wants to get fouled, get himself to the free throw line, but last night didn't have a single assist in well over 30 minutes of play.
A really good free throw shooter. Had the Big South last year, free throws made at High Point. And Jiffa back on the bench. Drive for Traore, and the turnover by Traore, and for Utah, that's their first of the night.
It was the right idea. Traore with the baseline drive, Terrence Brown baseline drift to get within his vision, but Traore has to deliver that play, and you're more likely to deliver it when you come to a 2-foot stop.
Alex Jensen, the coach of Utah, has really been employing his team to get their spacing right. Obviously, years in the NBA have solidified that as Travis Perry misses the 3-ball. Brown leaks out for Utah.
It's the awareness of Brown in transition. It was picked up by Kamardine, but Travis Perry was right there to give no angles or space for Brown to attack.
Traore cut off by 3 white jerseys. Patrick in and out, and James Scott up for it for the Rebels. Scott, he can get up there, can he?
Yeah, he is a big-time athlete. 2 blocks last night. He's had multiple games this year with 2 blocks. Can impact the game protecting the rim as well as getting on the glass.
The Frenchman Kamardine strokes it good.
With that size advantage against Brown, just be patient, get to your spot, elevate over the top.
8-5 Ole Miss. Not a lot of whistles here so far. Brown, and there's one. He's out of bounds in front of the bench. And Tim Duncan obviously went first. Keith Van Horn in college, I mean,
he was a problem. He was good.
Dia lost the handle, and was it knocked out? Yes, it stays with Ole Miss. But Keith Van Horn, the teams with Michael Doliak, Andre Miller, Alex Jensen, and they were tall, great point guard play, elite coaching. Like Keith Van Horn at a buzzer beater every night on SportsCenter.
They could really defend. I mean, that was the calling card of a lot of Rick Majerus' teams, but they were physical. They took things away, made you play to your weaknesses. And then they had so much talent on the offensive end. If they didn't get anything easy, Keith Van Horn could come up with something.
His career cut short by injuries in the NBA as McHenry scores on the baseline for Utah. And back within a point.
He's got a knack for getting the defense off balance. Lefty, so he's got a little bit of an advantage there, but a good change of pace into that jump shot.
Slung out to Pinkins, and he lofts it through on the baseball assist by Kamardine.
I really like Pinkins. Had 5 points in about 7 minutes last night, but he might be their best shooter by the end of the year when all things are said and done. He's got a load of potential.
There's Father Al on Chris Beard's staff. Dumped down to James Okonkwo, and a steal for the Rebels. Leave it back for Kamardine against the smaller McHenry. Room for Perry to skip it out. Pinkins fake the 3. Using the shot clock wisely. The spin on that shot just popped out. The length of Kamardine defensively against the guards for Utah worth watching. And now Abby's going to reset against Kasia. With room, Abby kicks it out. Sanders for 3. Nails it from the corner.
Abby more of a traditional setup point guard, but if he gets into the lane, you can't fully commit your help because that's exactly what he wants to do. Kick out to shooters. That time a wide open 3 gets knocked down out of the corner.
Now we're tied up at 10. If you're Ole Miss, you really want to see Dia get going. Foul here.
Get another look at that. Abby drives. Sanders wide open in the corner. That is a horse shot right there.
Kendall Sanders, freshman from Los Angeles. They thought they'd redshirt him initially, and they've actually said, hey, we need the depth, and we're going to throw you into the fire. And the freshman seeing 20 minutes a night. Dia fires long 2, and a late whistle on the baseline, but Todd Austin saw the contact on the elbow, and Dia's going to get 2 at the line.
Good sign for Chris Beard. Dia has been much more active tonight than I think he was a night ago. Scored the opening bucket on the lob, and right there, able to put the ball on the deck, get fouled, get to the line. Maybe a little undersized in regards to other bigs in the SEC, but he's got a good wingspan. He's athletic. He's got some pop to him.
Chris Beard believes that he has a chance to be a pro. The key is going to be the rebounding, and he only averages less than 5 rebounds a game at 6'9", 250. Brown against a swarm of Rebel jerseys. Traore spins and can't finish it. Saved up by Okonkwo. Utah so far 4 of 7. McHenry slipped, and loose ball foul on Okonkwo flying in and giving it back to the Rebels.
Well, that's one thing about Okonkwo, though, is he plays hard. Last night, 8 points, 8 rebounds in about 25 minutes. I think this Utah team, a big challenge, and we talked about it a little bit in our pregame prep, is I thought their body language at times in the second half last night wasn't great. You want to see a good response tonight if you're Alex Jensen.
Yeah, it's only going to get tougher in the Big 12. Utah 5-2 record so far, but hadn't left the Huntsman Center until trajectory at every stop for Chris Beard.
There are lofty expectations based on what he's done at the past at previous stops, as well as what they did a season ago in Oxford. He's got quite a talented roster to be able to replicate a lot of the success they had a season ago.
Brown inside, and a reaching foul called on Ole Miss. And it's on number 1, Corey Chest. And that's his first, and for the Rebels, their 4th so far.
That's a case of kind of being stuck in no man's land defensively. If you're guarding a corner shooter, you got to stay connected to that shooter. If your responsibility is to cover a drive, you've got to get your full body and chest in front, not get called for a reach.
Correction, Chest with his second, so he exits. Schiffer back in. Brown to the basket, kicks to the corner for Dawes. And Keanu Dawes not there, but it's punched out. Brown now knocks down the 3.
The first open look he has had tonight. But credit Traore, the back tap to provide an extra opportunity. One of the best times to get an open look from 3 is off of an offensive rebound.
Storr lost it. 3-on-1. Schiffer, excellent defense. Lob to the rim. James Scott, no, but he's fouled.
Scott, a nice job running the floor, giving Jiffa an outlet, the ability to toss the lob, but McHenry saw it was coming. He did not want to make it on the highlight package at halftime.
This guy, 6'10", 225, the junior from Fayetteville, North Carolina. They've got another free throw as Hayes re-enters.
Sorry, Ed. He spent 2 years with Pat Kelsey as a freshman at College of Charleston, followed him to Louisville. And if you follow closely, he's not your prototypical big for Pat Kelsey. He wants all 5 shooters on the floor at times. I think he's found himself a good fit with Ole Miss.
Oh, bobble rebound by Dawes. And Ole Miss gets another crack at it. Scott sets a screen. Dia gets free for a standstill 3 that he is capable of making, but he misses there. Another loose ball foul on Utah this time. And for the Utes, their 5th, and it looks like McHenry's going to pick it up. But Scott last year, we said this last night, with 79 dunks last year, the 3rd most in a Louisville single season. Montrezl Harrell with the top 2 marks.
Well, his job is to run the floor, create opportunities in transition, be in the dunker spot, and then attack the glass.
I think Jeff thought he'd get a foul call there, and he left it way short. McHenry to the basket for 2, and he ties the game at 15.
What a finish there. Undersized, attack the paint. The teardrop over the top from the baseline, which is difficult because you don't have the ability to use the glass from that angle.
Midway point of this first half of the third place game. Dia against Dawes.
Nice
Out of
pass.
a double to Scott.
Great pass, and there's one of those dunks you just talked about. Puts himself in a perfect position to receive and just finish.
Knocked away from Brown. Hayes retrieves. I had to look it up. I would have thought that a guy who might have had a record at Louisville was Darrell Griffith. When your name is Dr. Duncanstein,
Yes.
but they didn't play as many games back then.
Well, the difference, though, he was about 6'4". Montrezl Harrell, James Scott, about 6'8", 6'9" or so. But yes, Darrell Griffith could sky.
Apparently, and this is before my time, there was the famous poster, the Dr. Duncanstein poster. Brown denied by Dia, but it was on the glass. And a goaltend on Ole Miss. Great Scott. Let's go back to it.
Oh, let's take another look. Dia creates the attention with a double team. Scott making himself available at the front of the rim. That's as easy a two as he's going to get. Terrence Brown probably needed to rotate down. Another look at the goaltend as well. Brown using his quickness to get out ahead. Dia just a split second late, coming up with the block off the glass, which clearly results in that goaltend.
Travis Perry brings it up for Ole Miss. Perry, the sophomore elite high school scorer in Kentucky, the state record with over 5,400 points. Eduardo Klafke, the Brazilian, for chest at the nail. Good defense by Utah. Klafke on a reset. 4 to shoot. Perry, long range. Utes very engaged that time defensively. McHenry with the left, down the right side, counted and a foul. Well, they'll just say a goaltend and it would have counted anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So give the basket and the Utes with the lead.
Again, McHenry shows his burst of speed and his ability to be creative around the rim. Undersized at only 6'2", but he's got an array of finishes, typically with the left, which is what you're going to find with most lefties.
9 for McHenry. Oh, the blow-by for chest and the flush.
Well, Dawes has to do a better job of being in a stance, understanding the first responsibility is to guard the ball as opposed to see what actions are about to happen.
Under 8 left in the first half. We're sitting on a timeout. Patrick tries on Comardine. Difficult shot. Here comes Chest. Driving kick to Pinkins. Floater, side of the backboard. Chest retrieves. Chest, fade away. Way short, good contest by Hayes. This is different looking Utah team than last night, Dan.
Oh.
Henry hits the 3.
And without a doubt, a different team playing with more energy, more pop on both ends of the floor. And McHenry has really got it going now. 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field. Because he's got the ability and he's already showed it to put the ball on the deck and get to the rim, defense has to respect it. There, they gap him. He recognizes it, knocks down the 3.
And Pinkins, his horse-collared by Pat. Was he Mighty Mouse?
Mighty Mouse.
Back in the day.
Rookie of the Year with the Toronto Raptors after an All-American career at Arizona.
Here's Happy, denied by Cassia. Perry Pettigrew as well. Another way, Drake. We have Ben McCollum in Iowa, winners earlier against Grand Canyon. Eric Henderson is their coach after 6 years at South Dakota State, a job that has fed a lot of coaches. Nico Medved, Ben McCollum, for a time back in the day. Keno Davis made a jump. And Drake might not keep coaches for long, but it's a place where you can thrive in a short amount of time.
Well, we've seen the success of so many basketball programs in the state of Iowa. Iowa State's been really good over the years. You just mentioned Drake. Northern Iowa had a couple nice runs in the NCAA tournament. Iowa seems to be back clearly under Ben McCollum, who won the first game here this evening.
Perry short, Chess following up, and it's tracked down by Sanders. Brown 1 against 5. All the Rebels got back. And work it outside of Sanders for 3, and he knocks it down.
Second triple of the night, but overall, I thought that was a good defensive possession for Ole Miss. All 5 guys knew when Terrence Brown had the ball. That's how much of a problem he is and how much attention he creates.
Sanders with 6 now. Pinkins with the answer for the Rebels.
8 points now on the night. A little bit of a slow release, which has not allowed him to get off a couple shots here in the last 2 nights where I thought maybe he could have squeezed one off. But when he has time and his feet are set, that's a good-looking jump shot.
Now we're tied at 25. A back-and-forth first half. Terrence Brown on balance will go to the line for 2 for Utah.
Terrence Brown is constantly in attack mode. Every time he catches the ball, he is looking for an angle to get by the defense. He's looking for a screen to come free him up. There's a reason he's averaging nearly 23 points a game now on the season.
Dan, 2 years for Brown at Fairleigh Dickinson in the Northeast Conference in Teaneck, New Jersey. And Chris Beard will turn to Dia once again, along with Scott, Kasia, and Chest back to the bench. And Comardine in as well for Ole Miss. But Brown, his first year, scored about 8 per game under Shaq Castleberry, and then came year 2, jumped to 20-plus points per game, shot 44%, and then you go in the portal and you land at a place like Utah after a terrific year on the East Coast.
Well, you look at this Utah backcourt with him and McHenry. Neither are a true point guard, so they share those duties throughout the game, but they're both wired to score.
How about Abby draws Dia there, kind of defenseless at 5'11", and Abby reaches in and commits the personal.
That's where when you're in a situation like that as a smaller guard, you got to use your speed, your quickness, your center of gravity, climb underneath Dia, make him uncomfortable. He puts the ball on the deck, you're right there.
Ole Miss in the bonus, the 7th on the Utes. And Dia can't connect. And Storr trying to get it back, commits the foul, reaching in his first, and number 5 on the Rebels of Ole Miss. Chris Beard, we talked to him the other day at Ole Miss practice. And he said Storr was brought here to have his best season yet in college.
Well, he's well on his way. Well, last night I thought he was great. 22 points. Didn't force the issue from beyond the line, but he got to the free throw line on multiple occasions.
First points for Traore tonight. Seydou Traore from the Bronx. Played at Iowa last season under Fran McCaffrey. Pinkins turnaround, in and out. Okonkwo cleans it up. 4-point lead for the running Utes. Matches their largest. McHenry can't add to it, but he's decked on the baseline. And now is going to shoot a pair with 4:24 left in this first half.
And that's the type of adjustment a lot of freshmen have to make going from high school to the Division I level. Pinkins, he's there, but he's not necessarily ready to react to the quickness and the stop-and-go herky-jerkiness of McHenry. A little bit late getting to that contest because he's not able to keep him in front and square him up.
Travis Perry re-enters for Dia. Last foul on James Scott, that is first. Don McHenry, 5th-year guy from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Out of Western Kentucky last. Was the tournament MVP in Conference USA in 2024. And led the Hilltoppers in points the last 2 years. Another turnover by Ole Miss. That's going to drive Chris Beard mad. His their sixth now. And that's more than Utah's total of 5.
That's a focus for them tonight because they had 10 in the first half last night. A team that, going into last night, averaged single digits in the turnover category.
Brown now 2 for 6 with that miss. Pinkins, he thought about it for a second.
I would have shot that if I were him. You got a little bit of daylight, let it go.
You're a from the parking lot guy.
Yeah, once you step in the gym, you're ready. You're open.
Storr keeps control,
Jeez.
pops it up, and there's Mr. Scott.
Just throw it up anywhere around the rim and let the big fella do the rest.
James Scott, 2 big dunks. 31-27 Utah, 3:22 left first half. Flung away from Brown, gets it back now from Okonkwo. McHenry drills the 3, and that's alertness by Brown.
A little bit of a broken play, but Brown able to corral it, get into the middle of the paint, and find the open McHenry in the corner.
James Scott didn't need to dunk it, just put it through the basket.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Ole Miss SID counts that as a dunk.
Mike Schwartz, you're on the clock.
Well, I know if it were me, I would have been begging for that to be called a dunk.
Sanders in traffic. Nice squeeze for the finish. Yeah, kudos to Mike and all the SIDs here in Palm Springs. They've been so helpful to us, the coaches. It makes such a difference for all you viewers, and we're grateful to all the help. Backdoor not there for Comardine. 8 to shoot for Storr. Launches the 3. Scott was being held up, gets the rebound. Pinkins, deep 3. There's the Dick-Out range.
There, that time shot it without thinking about it. Tell you what, he's got a great fundamental base to his shot. I know he's early in his career, but sometimes you just got to go in with a gunslinger's mentality and let it fly.
Both teams shooting it well. Utah 54%, Ole Miss at 50%. And the reach in on Comardine against Traore.